Okay, so I had this idea that I would do a video. I'm going to do blank for 30 days and see what happens. Trungpa did out. Well, tempting to so many impulse to. But I already do yoga every day and I already do meditation every day. So those weren't going to work. And then there are challenges like I drink celery juice every day for 30 days, or I'm going to go to the gym every day for 30 days. I'm going to do push-ups every day for 30 days. And those just really didn't seem to align for me. I didn't really want to go to the gym every day for 30 days. So I thought, what if I came up with I'm going to do something every day for 30 days that really aligned with my values. And I came up with the idea of doing the Lojong slogans, one of the Lojong slogans every day for 30 days. They're part of the Tibetan yoga tradition and Tibetan meditation tradition of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. And there are 59 slogans. And I thought, what if I chose one of the slogans and lived it every day for 30 days, focused on it, and see what happens. And so I haven't chosen one yet. My idea was that I'm going to choose one from this deck. I'm going to put the slogans up here probably so that you can see them. There's a video where this guy, he chants them out beautifully, and you could listen to all of them. That would be a beautiful practice in and of itself. But I have them here on my altar, and sometimes I'll choose one a day and see which one I want to focus on. But I thought, wouldn't it be great to focus on them for 30 days? Focus on one. Now, it would be great if I got one like, well, actually, I don't know which one would be great to get. But some of them are simple, like don't be jealous or don't expect applause. And then some of them are really more complex. Oh, there's one already came out. So that's going to be my one. My big thing was that whatever one came out was going to be the one that I have to do for 30 days. No exceptions. And I'm going to set an alarm on my clock, and every day at that time I'll check in with you and let you know how it's going. So if it's a more complex one, it'll be something that kind of illuminates over time. And if it's easier, well, there'll be challenges with focusing on one. So this will be my, okay. So this is, don't make gods into demons. Don't make gods into demons. So this is a good one for me. So sometimes what can happen is that we can turn our yoga practice or anything good, our meditation practice, anything, even the Lojong, we can turn it into something that we use to punish ourselves. That's one way of looking at it. But the great thing about doing this challenge over the next 30 days is that I get to know this one. I have lots of books on it. There are lots of articles on these online, and I'll get to know the slogan well, and I'll explain my deepening understanding of it as well. So don't make gods into demons. That will be my focus over the next 30 days, and I'll explain to you how it unfolds in my life. Just one more thing I wanted to say at the outset, that for me, this is not about succeeding at this. It's not about doing well. It's about just noticing how I open or close to this. So it's not about getting a gold star or being perfect at it. It's just noticing over the next 30 days about the ways that I might turn gods into demons. And yeah, it's just really an awareness practice, a contemplation practice. Day 1. Okay, so on the first day, I was looking at what Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche had to say about don't turn God into demons. And he said it's about our tendency to have a negativity bias and to complain about a lot of things that actually bring us joy. And so I was reflecting back on last night when Trinity came into my bedroom and gave me a kiss goodnight, unbidden. And then the next day I was saying to Tim, did you prompt her to do that? Did you ask her to come into my room and kiss me goodnight? And he said, yeah, I did, but did that make it any less special? And I said, I'm turning gods into demons, aren't I? He said, yeah, you are. And so I said, yeah, that was a really special moment. And so I appreciated what it was. It was a tender moment of affection and love between my daughter and I, and just appreciated it for what it was. Day 2. Today I reflected on the way that we can use the Dharma or the teachings to build our ego. Today we did a live video on my secondary channel, Yoga Lifestyle with Melissa, to celebrate 20,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of you who subscribed to both of my YouTube channels. And in that video, towards the end, I tagged 5 yoga YouTubers that I admire a lot and talked about what I admire about them and what I love about their yoga YouTube channels. And when I did that, I noticed a welling up of generosity in me, and it felt like a really embodied sense of generosity, which is part of our Buddha nature. And as the day went on, I noticed how, oh my gosh, look at how messy it is over there. Maybe over here. It's all messy in the background. As the day went on, I noticed how I wanted to solidify that and use it to build up my sense of self. Like, I am a generous person. And so that's what I noticed today, how turning gods into demons was, making myself into a generous person, or making that who I am. So that's what's going on today. Okay, it is day 8. I have taken the last few days off recording for this because I've really not been feeling that well, and I keep ignoring my alarm when it goes off and thinking I'll record later, and then I'm not feeling well, so I don't. But I'm feeling better this afternoon, and so I thought I'd better pop on and let you know what's been happening with this. So I'm just continuing to notice how deeply the negativity bias is ingrained and how much I complain. That's really standing out. So, and also just how much it is tied to my parenting. So on Friday, it was the last day of registration for summer school for Trinity, and she had me jumping through all kinds of hoops for that. And I could find myself getting super irritated about that, because I was thinking, in my opinion, she was 17 and she's going into grade 12, and really I thought she should be doing more of that than I was. But then I kept thinking about the don't turn gods into demons things, and thinking about, just how good summer school was going to be for her and how much structure it was going to offer her. And I kept I talked myself off the edge on that one, and thinking about how, this is going to be really good, so maybe you want to be a little more positive and supportive with this. And so it keeps coming back to me for around right action and accepting the present moment, or I don't know, and not complaining about the present moment, or the edge around how to discipline my child. I don't know. And then the next one was around today, again with parenting. It was yesterday I had asked Trinity to take the recycling out, and she didn't get to it, so I reminded her today. And then Tim reminded her that we had a call with his parents today, and she was rushing out to go out with her friends. So she decided to call her grandparents right before she went out, and she multi-passed it. So she was calling them and talking to them. We could hear her down by the recycle bin as she was putting the things in the recycle bin. And I thought, oh God, I was cringing. I was thinking, God, how rude, she's taking out the recycling and talking to her grandparents at the same time. But, with the slogan, don't turn gods into demons, there she was taking out the recycling and speaking to her grandparents and, doing the things that we asked her to do. So, that's where it's at for me. And you guys can think. And I'm just seeing this tendency I have to have these really high expectations, and to not acknowledge enough what's happening. So that's been a lot, actually, over the last few days. No wonder I haven't been feeling well. Hello, it is day 11 of my Lojong training and Don't Turn Gods into Demons. And as I've mentioned a few times in this 30-day challenge, I have had this stomach bug over the last week or so. And so it's actually been quite challenging to do this, to focus on Lojong, to do the mind training. And today I'm feeling a little bit better, and I returned to Norman Fischer's book. And one of the interesting things that he does in the training of this Lojong slogan is he turns it on its head, and he says, turn demons into gods. And so over the last few days of not feeling well and having this stomach bug, looking back, not saying that I did it well, there's been a lot of complaining and not feeling well, and of generally just kind of feeling depressed and down about it. But looking back, just looking at the blessings in that and the things that have gone well. Like he says that even when you're in pain, that there's always something to be grateful for. And so, yesterday was a real low point, to be honest. And when I look back, I look at how I thought yesterday, what's something that I can do that's really mindless, that can distract me. And I thought, I could sit here and pin pins on Pinterest. And I think I did that for a good 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours. And I scheduled over 200 pins, and that's something that I wouldn't normally feel like I had time for. But it was mindless, and it felt productive, and it feels good to have that done. And I also spent time reading fiction, which was nice and entertaining, and just generally resting. The other thing is Tim's got a really bad pain in his back that I inflicted, giving him Thai massage right now. And one thing that I noticed because of that is that he's getting into the car really weird. I've never noticed that before, but the car it's too small for him. I've never noticed that before because he never complains about the car. In fact, he thinks the car is the greatest thing. And so that's something he's just got such a positive outlook on life. I'd never noticed that the car didn't fit him before. So, he's got this one down for sure. It's one that I need to work on. So. That was just something really interesting. So this is day 11. This has definitely been interesting, and we'll just keep going. Yesterday was day 14 of Don't Turn Gods into Demons, and Tim and I were out. We went up island a bit to just north of Parksville to go caving, and it was really great because the Lojong slogan, I'm just starting like, oh gosh, there's a deer over there. Tim told me he saw a deer. She's too far away for me to show you. Anyway, I was starting to feel like, I don't know, this isn't really revealing much to me. I feel like I'm just reading what other people are saying, and I'm not really having my own insights. But yesterday it started to reveal something to me, I feel like. So June is Tim's birthday month, and it's Father's Day, and it's our wedding anniversary, so I always say it's Tim's month. And I was thinking about how to make it special for him, and then I was thinking about how, don't turn gods into demons, and how each person is really an expression of the divine. And, how easy it is to look for faults in people or find fault. You don't have to look, you find them really easily. And that seemed really profound to me, that we shouldn't turn gods, each person being a god, into a demon. And that was just the profundity of it to me from yesterday, day 14. And then today, day 15, it was a long day yesterday. So we spent about 5 hours in the car, probably more like 6, because 3 hours there, 3 hours back, and then crawling around in caves. So I decided to take the whole day today to, I'm just looking at my time. Okay, I need to divide this into 2 clips probably. No, I'm okay. Take the whole day today to do a 1-day retreat on the site, and I have this retreat that is an embodied gratitude retreat. And at the beginning I talk about treating your body like an indentured servant. And then I started thinking about how actually we treat our lives like we're slaves to our lives. And then I was thinking about the Lojong slogan again, and how we're just slaves to our lives, and we treat our lives like demons too. We're just kind of getting this rat race, and it's so easy to do that too. So we can just be slaves to our lives, And I thought about how we can forget about the preciousness of our lives, and that our lives are sacred too. And so, just 2 days were just the slogans, just revealing the preciousness of itself and the sacredness of itself, and it's sort of like becoming very rich in my life. So I'm feeling really grateful for that. Okay, day 18. A couple of days ago, I had a situation where I was feeling really hurt because some people in my life didn't respond the way that I wanted them to. So it ended up causing me to really shut down, and I got hurt, and actually ended up causing me pain in my body. And I was reflecting on this Lojong slogan, don't turn gods into demons. And it was like tempting to look at the other people, but I kept looking to myself for the answers. And I went, and I hadn't looked at Judy Leif's commentary on this yet, so I decided to look that up. It's all available online, and I'll put the link to it in the show notes for this. I've got a really long blog post going on this too that you can look at. And she talked about the way the teachings can either open us up and shut us down. And a lot of times that we can become quite arrogant with the teachings, thinking that, we use the teachings to build our ego up, and that actually shuts us down as well. And I looked at the way that I was actually being quite aggressive and trying to control the outcome, and it was an opportunity to really soften, because in the end of the day I was even judging myself for the way I was feeling, that I shouldn't be feeling that way, and feeling bad about that, feeling embarrassed that I was feeling that way. And it was an opportunity to soften and invite in compassion. So it was great to have those teachings. Judy Leif's teachings are great on this, and it was really helpful. Okay, day 19. So recently I've been feeling quite inspired to go spend more time in meditation, and I've been wanting to take some time with a program called Somatic Descent. It's a program with Sounds True that Reggie Ray recorded. You can look into it yourself. And in this program, Reggie talks about how the body is sacred. And I've been listening to all the teachings in this program and then doing all the meditations. And I thought that it was really interesting how the teachings are lining up with the Lojong slogan, don't turn gods into demons, because he's talking about not only do we have to treat our body as sacred, not just on the meditation cushion, but also in our day-to-day lives, so that we give our body really nutritious food and make sure it gets adequate rest, make sure it gets the movement it needs. But the thing that really stood out to me was that we don't treat our body as a slave because of our own ambitions. And that really stood out to me, because we can really turn the most sacred thing in our life into a demon because of our own ambition, and whereas we should be really treating our bodies with such devotion. Day 22 of Lojong. I'm on Lone Tree Hill. How gorgeous is that? So Reggie Ray says, when we serve our deepest selves, our lives become a vehicle for others. And over the last few days, I have been realizing how much the message of our dominant culture to grow and become more, and just all the messages around serving at the altar of materialism really seeps into my own psyche. And that I bow at that altar so many times, and that when I can step away from that and serve my higher self, that then it serves me better, and also all the people in my life better. And it's just one of the ways that this Lojong slogan of turning gods into the demons just gets flipped on its head. The way that we turn demons into gods in our culture, I think. And so I've been reflecting on this a lot, and really just thinking about how I can bow at the altar of my highest self. And I've been doing this a lot. thank goodness for having access to such incredible teachings through Reggie Ray and spending a lot of time with somatic descent. And that's just really woven really beautifully with the Lojong slogan, "Don't turn gods into demons." And spending time with the somatic descent has really allowed me to stay with my highest self and with that the awareness, the wisdom, the insight, the clarity, and the guidance there. And I think that's been really helpful. So that's where my mind's been at over the last couple of days. Only a week left of this slogan, and we'll see where it leads me. Okay, day 27. And over the last 5 days, first couple of days, I was just wrapping up the fire element course. And then over the last 3 days, I have been suffering from a migraine, so I haven't checked in. But what I have been doing is listening to, there's a recording on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I linked to it in the show notes. I will link to it in the show notes, and I'll put a card up here for it too. Of this really great recording of the Lojong slogans so that I can hear them in the totality. And it's really interesting to hear the Lojong slogan, "Don't turn gods into demons," within the context of the Lojong slogans as a whole, to hear the foundation of where the Lojong slogans start from, and also kind of the overall context of what the Lojong slogans stand for, which is, they're mind training, they're training our minds, and also the overall aspiration and intention of the Lojong slogans, which is to live for the benefit of all beings, to live in service for all beings. And, it's really interesting that in just taking this one slogan, that don't turn gods into demons, that is what has really come to fruition over the last 30 days, that impulse to let go of my ego-driven ideas and agendas and beliefs and pushing and thoughts about how my life should be, and really just, this Reggie Ray quote that I mentioned at the last one, when we serve our deepest selves, our lives become vehicles for others. That is just really feels like a quote that is part of my inner compass right now, or is leading my inner compass right now. Anyway, what was really interesting to me was the way that the Lojong slogan, "Don't turn gods into demons," the commentary for it in this overall, the one that goes into all of the slogans, and it says, "Don't use the teachings to strengthen your own self-absorption." And I really have felt that self-absorption is lessening, that my wanting to defend my own interests is softening quite a bit. And that's been really interesting to observe over the 30 days, and just noticing how much more interest I have in other people. Not just interest and feeling that love for other people, but also not needing it to go my way, just being there for them and recognizing their basic goodness and appreciating their precious lives, and recognizing that they're not always going to be here, and appreciating them while they are here. So that's what's up for now, and I can't believe that there's only 3 days left of this. It's just been incredible, and I want to do another one after this. So what's interesting is I've been watching a lot of other, since I've had 3 days in bed with a migraine, I've been watching other YouTube videos where people do these 30-day challenges, and when they're done, they just want to be done. So I think that's a unique difference with choosing one that really is pointing to your higher self and to the inner self versus kind of outer goals, is that there is a desire to keep going with it. Okay, day 30, my final day of this Lojong slogan, number 37, "Don't make gods into demons." And I decided to go back through some of my notes, and 2 of the notes stood out in particular. One, this was from the video that I listened to quite a bit, actually, of all the slogans. And this is the one that just translated the "Don't make gods into demons" slogan, and it says, "Don't use the teachings to strengthen your self-absorption." And that really stood out to me through the whole 30 days, increasingly so as the days went on, that the teachings aren't there to focus on our own self-absorption, that these teachings are to benefit the awakening of all beings and to awaken our own compassion for the benefit of all beings. And then I went to Pema Chodron's teachings as well, and the "Don't make gods into demons" slogan, the way that her teaching stood out to me this morning was that she was speaking about how we don't use the teachings to punish ourselves. And particularly over the last few days, almost week, I've been experiencing migraines, and it's very easy to think that something's wrong with me. And, she says that the teachings are there to open our hearts. She actually said, what did she say? When we find ourselves struggling, that the teachings are there. We continually get the teachings we need to open our hearts. And that really stood out to me because it's so easy to feel like a failure, especially as the days stretch on and on. And even though this slogan was about not making gods into demons, as in not using the teachings to punish ourselves and not turning the teachings around, what really stood out to me was the teachings on the preciousness of our lives and on basic goodness, that we all have this inherent goodness in us. We all have the wisdom, the joy, and compassion and loving kindness in us, and that's not dependent on what we do, what we achieve, any accolades that we have in our lifetime, that there is this inherent goodness and that we are all lovable. And that's what really stood out to me over the last 30 days. So I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a different format for me. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. I'd like more 30 days like this, especially if you'd like to see more Lojong. It's spelled Lojong. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.